Hello, everyone, and welcome to my Royal Family Politics channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Commentary from Queen Elizabeth regarding King Charles' coronation crown. At his coronation on May 6, King Charles wore the imperial state crown. In a 2018 documentary, Queen Elizabeth observed that not all of the crown's pearls look very happy. Most pearls like to be sort of living creatures, she continued. There was glamour and glam for King Charles II's coronation, with regalia like scepters and sparkly robes. The king's late mother, Queen Elizabeth II, famously remarked that the crown he wore during his coronation had a rather sad quality to it. King Charles wore the imperial state crown at his coronation, following Queen Elizabeth's example. King Charles' coronation on May 6 adhered to tradition despite the addition of some modern embellishments. Wearing the same crown that his mother did for her 1953 coronation was one of these customs. The monarch wore the imperial state crown at Westminster Abbey upon his inauguration, much like the Queen had done 70 years previously. According to historic royal palaces, the gold headdress was created for the coronation of the Queen's father and King Charles' grandfather, King George VI. It is studded with 2,868 diamonds, 17 sapphires, 11 emeralds, 269 pearls, and 4 rubies. Pearls on the imperial state crown, according to Queen Elizabeth, don't look very happy. In the 2018 BBC documentary, The Coronation, Queen Elizabeth examined the imperial state crown. In a TikTok video that later went viral, the late monarch was speaking to broadcaster Alastair Bruce when she touched the sparkler and described some of the pearls as sad. Two of the bigger hanging pearls, which were once owned by Mary, Queen of Scots, and later acquired by Elizabeth I, drew Queen Elizabeth's attention. The Queen claimed they were intended to be Queen Elizabeth's earrings. But right now, they're not very content. Now, they don't seem to be very happy. Most pearls like to be sort of living creatures, she said. They have so simply been residing here for years. It makes me sad. Thus, they don't appear to be particularly joyful. Shaking her crown, the Queen said, "The problem is that pearls are kind of life things. They also require heat." Queen Elizabeth, who is known for routinely donning pearls, wore a pearl necklace in her last official photograph. The Queen was honored by many royal women who wore pearls to the monarch's funeral in September 2022. Starting on May 26, the imperial state crown will be on display at the Tower of London. Visit the Tower of London if you want to get a better look at the imperial state crown and the rumored sad pearls. King Charles' coronation is being celebrated with an exhibition at the former residence of the Crown Jewels. According to BBC, the imperial state crown will be on display at the Jewel House exhibition. The St. Edward's crown will also. Visitors may know the latter as the crown King Charles was given on May 6 by Archbishop of Canterbury Justin Welby. Producers had to significantly alter the Paddington Bear sketch due to Queen Elizabeth's poor health. A comedy segment featuring the late Queen and the popular children's figure aired last year as part of the Platinum Jubilee celebrations. The Queen's poor health necessitated a big filming adjustment for her legendary sketch with Paddington Bear, which was made to celebrate her Platinum Jubilee last June. The sketch was really shot in Windsor Castle, where the frail Queen spent a lot of her time before she passed away, despite being staged to appear as though it were taking place at Buckingham Palace. 3 months after the sketch's June airing, on September 8, Her Majesty passed away at the age of 96. According to OK magazine, actor Simon Farnaby, who played a footman in the movie, disclosed the actual shooting site. At the 2023 TV BAFTAs on Sunday night, the highly regarded sketch won for Memorable Moment, and Mr. Farnaby took the stage to accept the honor. He said it was a lovingly created moment, and he continued, "She had a very happy Jubilee tea that day. We can only receive this award on behalf of the person who deserves it the most and say Thank you, ma'am, for everything, because she is no longer with us. After serving for 19 years, the aide to the Queen who had arguments with Harry resigns. Sir Edward Young, who served both Queen Elizabeth II and King Charles II, has departed the royal household. A senior royal staffer who angered Prince Harry has resigned as the King's joint primary private secretary. Harry attributed the late Queen's unwillingness to allow him and Meghan to work as part-time royals to Sir Edward Young. They also quarreled over the government's resistance to allowing them to receive ongoing, taxpayer-funded police protection in the UK. After serving in the royal household for 19 years, he was appointed to the peerage of Lord Young and has since left. Sir Edward, 56, joined the royal household in September 2004 as the Queen's assistant private secretary. He had previously worked as William Hague's advisor when he was the head of the Conservative Party. From 2017 until her death in 2018, Sir Edward was the Queen's closest aide. It was anticipated that he would lead after the shift of power. He did, however, promise to remain until the coronation in order to assist the King and his advisors in adjusting to their new positions in the wake of Queen Elizabeth's passing in September of last year. Although he has served as a linchpin during his time at the palace, Harry, 38, made it apparent that he disdains the private secretary who worked for his late grandmother. He attacked Sir Edward, who called him the Bee, and other aides who, in his opinion, plotted against him in his memoir Spare, which was released in January. Other reports, however, asserted that they were doing as Prince William, Prince Charles, and the late Queen had requested. The Bee was oval-faced and fuzzy, and tended to glide around with great equanimity and poise as if he were a boon to all, he wrote. People didn't fear him because of his poise, he said. Big error. Sometimes it's their final error. After he and Meghan made the decision to separate, Harry said that he was given 5 alternatives for the future when he arrived in Sandringham for a conference in January 2020. However, Sir Edward already had a statement prepared, printed, and with only one choice selected. The Duke of Sussex complained that Sir Edward did not help him in his efforts to sue newspapers for suspected phone hacking in court witness testimony last month. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex were denied permanent police protection while they were in the UK, and Harry's attorney, Shahid Fatima KC, claimed in July that Sir Edward should not have been involved in that decision because they had significant tensions going on. I am honored to have served 2 sovereigns over historic eras, Lord Young stated yesterday. Varadkar's partner apologizes after sharing highly offensive posts during the coronation. Matt Barrett, the boyfriend of the Irish Taoiseach Leo Varadkar, faced criticism after making a string of humorous comments at the coronation of King Charles II on his personal Instagram account. As a result of the comments he made to his Instagram followers on May 6, Dr. Barrett posted a quick apology on Twitter. The physician wrote, "On reflection, terrible judgment on my part. Mr. Varadkar became embroiled in a diplomatic gaffe 2 days after the remarks were made public. I sincerely apologize for any offense I may have caused." Dr. Barrett's letter came hours after his partner, Irish Prime Minister Mr. Varadkar, was questioned about whether the cardiologist ought to apologize now that his remarks from Coronation Day had become public. Mr. Varadkar emphasized that his girlfriend, who joined him at the historic coronation, is a private individual while on a visit to Limerick. He continued, "Matt is a private person. We've been together for almost 7 years, and there were some private messages sent on his private account to some pals. He never intended for them to be made public, but things like that do happen. We discussed it, and it won't occur again." On May 6, Dr. Barrett published a string of humorous comments on his personal Instagram account for the enjoyment of his 350 followers. The doctor wrote, "Holies asterisk asterisk, I think I'm accidentally crowned King of England," as the Taoiseach's car approached Westminster Abbey, the site of the ceremony. Dr. Barrett took a picture of the king wearing St. Edward's crown and compared the priceless ornament to the sorting hat, a fictional figure from the Harry Potter novel, despite being asked in the order of the ceremony to turn off his phones. He remarked, was genuinely half expecting it to shout, Irish designer Paul Costello was one among several who criticized the doctor's remarks. The posts were denounced by Mr. Costello as highly insulting and very embarrassing for Irish people in Britain. Mr. Costello has connections to the royal family since he created several outfits for Princess Diana between 1983 and 1997. For people living over here, it puts you in a very embarrassing situation, he told the Sunday Independent. I think it's really difficult to find justifications for that kind of behavior. You can claim it's funny and everything, but you can't act in that way. Over here, you must use extreme caution. They still adore finding things, and there is still this Irish-English vibe. The couple should have turned their phones off before entering the Abbey, Mr. Costello continued. Mr. Varadkar, who was caught on tape picking his nose in Westminster Abbey, was further embarrassed by his remarks. An important turning point in the history of relations between Ireland and the UK was Mr. Varadkar's attendance at the coronation. For the first time since Queen Victoria's reign, the Taoiseach and Ireland's President Michael D. Higgins, who also attended the occasion with his wife Sabina, were present.